Why do women come back after rejecting you? The answer isn't what you've been told by society, your friends, or even other dating gurus. It's not because she suddenly realized you're the one or because she misses you. In fact, she never truly wanted to let you go in the first place, and that's the shocking truth. Women return because they regret losing control over you. They come back because deep down, they hate seeing you thrive without them. They're drawn to the man who moves on, builds himself up, and shows that he doesn't need her. That's the man who gains the upper hand every single time. Today's dating world is brutal. If you're still relying on old advice about being nice or just being yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. Women aren't returning to you because you're the nicest guy around. I'm here to give you the real reasons women come back after rejecting you. Reasons rooted in psychological warfare, social dynamics, and pure, unapologetic truth. Reasons rooted in psychological warfare, social dynamics, and pure, unapologetic truth. Now let's get to it. Comment ready below if you're ready to have your mind blown, and stay till the end because I'm about to reveal the exact reason she comes back, why it works on your terms, and how you can turn her games into your advantage. Let's jump right in. Number 1, the power of indifference. Why do women come back after rejecting you? It's because of one powerful thing: indifference. The moment you stop giving her attention, validation, and emotional responses, something changes. She starts to wonder why you've moved on, and that's when the power shifts back to you. Today's world is driven by instant gratification, likes, texts, comments. Women are used to getting constant attention from dozens, if not hundreds, of men through social media. But here's the reality. Indifference is the key to making her want you back. Why? Because it's rare. When you step back and show no interest, you immediately set yourself apart. Indifference is the key to making her want you back. Why? Because it's rare. Most men fall into the trap of chasing a woman after she pulls away, but you'll do the opposite. You'll focus on your life, your goals, and your self-improvement. And in doing so, you'll naturally become the man she desires. Let's say you've been talking to a woman for a while. Things seem to be going well, but then she suddenly stops responding, goes cold, or even ghosts you. The average guy will panic, sending multiple texts, trying to figure out what went wrong. But you don't care. You don't chase. You're indifferent. You move on with your life, start hitting the gym, focus on your career, and suddenly she's back. Why? Because your indifference made her realize that she's no longer in control. Here's the hard truth. Once you master it, women will naturally come back into your life. The more you chase, the less she values you. The moment you stop caring, you flip the script and she starts to chase you. Indifference is a magnet. Once you master it, women will naturally come back into your life. But remember, indifference doesn't mean pretending not to care while secretly hoping she'll text. It means truly living your life with the mindset that her presence or absence makes no difference to you. Number 2, self-worth beyond relationships. Here's where most men get it wrong. They tie their self-worth to a woman's approval. When a woman rejects them, they feel worthless. And that's the exact opposite of what attracts women. The truth is, your self-worth must come from within, not from a relationship. Women are instinctively drawn to men who have a strong sense of self. When you value yourself independently of any external validation, you become the kind of man women are magnetized to. Why? Because you're not seeking her approval. You already approve of yourself. In today's culture, men are conditioned to believe that a relationship or a woman's affection is what defines their success. But real success comes from mastering yourself, from being content with your own life, your own goals, and your own achievements. Women sense when a man doesn't need them to feel complete, and that's what draws them back after rejection. For example, think about how men who focus on their careers, fitness, and passions naturally attract attention from women. It's not because they're trying to impress anyone, it's because they're pursuing their own self-worth. When you stop seeking her approval, she starts seeking yours. And that's when the dynamic shifts in your favor. Remember, your value isn't determined by her response. It's determined by what you do with your life. with or without her. Music. When a woman rejects you, she's made a decision based on her current view of you, but what happens when you start leveling up? Number 3, the perception shift. The moment you start living your best life without her, something interesting happens. Her perception of you completely changes. When a woman rejects you, she's made a decision based on her current view of you. But what happens when you start leveling up? Her perception of you starts to shift. Here's how it works. When she rejected you, she probably saw you as someone she could take or leave. But now that you've stopped caring, stopped chasing, and started focusing on yourself, she begins to notice things she didn't before. Maybe you've hit the gym and your physique is looking better. Maybe you're making strides in your career or posting pictures of fun vacations on social media. Suddenly, you're not the same guy she walked away from. Women are highly competitive by nature. When they see a man they rejected thriving without them, it triggers something primal. She starts to wonder if she made a mistake. Maybe I misjudged him, she thinks. He's doing better than ever without me. That doubt will lead her to reconsider her decision, and before you know it, she's back, sliding into your DMs, acting like she never left. The perception shift is one of the most powerful psychological tools in dating. When you become the man she thought she didn't want, she'll quickly start questioning her own judgment. Number 4, emotional fortitude in chaos. In today's dating scene, chaos is the norm. Mixed signals, ghosting, on-again, off-again relationships, it's all a game of emotional highs and lows. But here's where you gain the upper hand. The man who stays calm in the midst of this chaos is the one who wins. Most men crumble when women test them. They get frustrated when she pulls back. They get anxious when she doesn't text. And they get angry when she plays mind games. You're seeing a woman, music things are going well, and then suddenly she starts acting distant. But Stoicism teaches us something different. Emotional fortitude. Women will always test your emotional strength, whether they realize it or not. They want to see if you can handle the pressure, or if you'll crack. Imagine this. You're seeing a woman, things are going well, and then suddenly she starts acting distant. The average man will panic, overanalyze, and start sending needy texts, trying to figure out what went wrong. But the man with emotional fortitude stays cool. He doesn't react emotionally. Instead, he focuses on his own life, knowing that her behavior doesn't dictate his happiness. Women respect emotional strength. When you don't flinch, when you don't let her emotional games get to you, she'll see you as the rock she can't shake. And in today's chaotic dating world, that kind of stability is rare and incredibly attractive. Number 5, living well without her. Music. Here's the deal. If you want to know why women come back, it's simple. They're drawn to men who are living well without them. It's the ultimate paradox. The moment you show that you can not only survive but thrive without her, she'll start to miss you. Women are wired to want what they can't have, and when you're living a fulfilling life without her, you become exactly that. Here's the deal. When a woman rejects you, she expects you to fall apart, to start begging for her back, to spiral into sadness. But when you do the opposite, when you focus on your goals, start hitting the gym, hanging out with friends, and posting pictures of your new and improved life, she won't be able to ignore it. Living well without her doesn't just mean looking happy on social media. It means truly building a life that you love, one where her presence or absence is irrelevant to your success. When you reach that point, something amazing happens. Number 6, the power music of absence. Not only do women from your past start to take notice, but new women will be drawn to you as well. Why? Because you're displaying confidence, independence, and self-sufficiency, the exact traits women find irresistible. The key is this. Focus on building a life that's so fulfilling that you no longer care whether she comes back or not. Ironically, that's when she'll come running. Number 6, the power of absence. We live in a world where everyone is constantly connected, social media, texting, DMing. Most guys think that by staying in touch with her, by keeping the lines of communication open, they can somehow win her back. But here's the truth. Absence is power. Women are emotional creatures. When you stop responding, when you go completely silent, you create a void that she can't ignore. Suddenly, the constant stream of validation she was used to is gone. She starts wondering why. Music. Then she starts pulling back. Maybe she's testing you. She starts thinking about you more, and guess what? That's exactly when she'll come back. Think about it like this. If she's used to getting texts from you every day and suddenly you disappear, she'll feel that loss. It's human nature. The absence of something we're used to creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, curiosity and desire grow. Let's say you've been chatting with her regularly. Maybe you even went out a few times. Then she starts pulling back. Maybe she's testing you. Maybe she's lost interest. But instead of reacting, you do the unexpected. You go silent. No texts, no calls, no checking in. Weeks go by, and suddenly you get a random message from her. Hey, how have you been? Why? Because your absence created intrigue. The biggest mistake men make after rejection is chasing. But when you remove yourself, you let her emotions do the work for you. You feel the need to prove yourself, to show her that she made a mistake, to get her back and win. She starts second-guessing her decision, wondering why you've disappeared, and her mind starts playing tricks on her. When she reaches out, you'll be in the driver's seat. You now have the upper hand, and it's up to you whether you even want to respond. Remember this, your absence is your most powerful presence. Number 7, emotional mastery over ego. Most guys lose the game of attraction because they let their ego get in the way. When a woman rejects you, it's natural for your ego to take a hit. You feel the need to prove yourself, to show her that she made a mistake, to get her back and win. But this is where most men fail. Your ego is your biggest enemy. Stoicism teaches us that real power comes from emotional mastery, not emotional reactions. When your ego is in control, you're no longer thinking clearly. You're acting out of pride and insecurity. You're chasing validation. But when you learn to let go of your ego, you'll find freedom. Here's the harsh reality. Women test men to see if they can control their emotions. It's a subconscious process, but when a woman rejects you, she's waiting to see how you react. Will you get angry? Will you chase after her? Will you lose your composure? If you do, you've failed the test. But when you show her that you can control your emotions, when you remain calm and indifferent, you pass the test with flying colors. Emotional mastery is one of the most attractive qualities a man can possess. Women are drawn to men who are unshakable, who don't let their emotions dictate their actions. Imagine this scenario. She rejects you, maybe even says something hurtful, and instead of reacting, you simply smile and say, "I understand. Take care of yourself." Then you walk away. That's emotional mastery. Focus only on what you can control. Everything else, music, is a waste of your energy. That's stoicism in action, and that's what makes her second-guess her decision. The moment you stop caring about her opinion and start caring about your own emotional stability, you become the man she can't forget. Number 8, control what you can control. One of the biggest sources of frustration in modern dating is the lack of control. You can't control whether she texts you back. You can't control if she's interested in someone else, and you certainly can't control whether she chooses to come back after rejecting you. But here's the thing. You don't need to. Stoicism teaches a fundamental truth. Focus only on what you can control. Everything else is a waste of your energy. When you're caught up in trying to control things outside your influence, like her feelings, her actions, or her decisions, you lose power. You start chasing, you start obsessing, you get stuck in a loop of neediness and insecurity. When you stop trying music to control her and start controlling yourself, you become that man. So let go, music, of the need to control her actions. But what can you control? You. You can control your mindset, your actions, and your growth. When you focus on what's within your control, something magical happens. You stop worrying about her and you start improving yourself. You hit the gym. You focus on your career. You spend time with friends and you become the man you were meant to be. And guess what? That's when she starts noticing you again. Women are drawn to men who are in control of their own lives. They don't want a man who's obsessing over them, trying to manipulate their feelings. They want a man who's confident, independent, and focused on his own goals. When you stop trying to control her and start controlling yourself, you become that man. So, let go of the need to control her actions. Focus on your own. You hit the gym, you start excelling music at work, you improve your social life, and you don't tell her any of this. Music. But over time, she notices. Control what you can control, and you'll see a massive shift in not just your relationships, but in your entire life. Number 9, action over words. In today's world, talk is cheap. Everyone has something to say, but few are willing to back it up with action. And in relationships, this is even more important. Women hear promises all the time. I'll change, I'll be better, I'll do this or that. But words mean nothing if they're not followed by real action. Here's the secret. Stop talking. Start doing. If you've been rejected, the worst thing you can do is try to convince her with words. Don't tell her you've changed. Show her. Don't tell her you're going to get your life together. Do it. Focus on your own growth and let your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Imagine this scenario. You've been rejected, and instead of begging for another chance, you go silent. You hit the gym. Rejection isn't the end of your music story, it's just the beginning. You start excelling at work, you improve your social life, and you don't tell her any of this. But over time, she notices. Maybe she sees your progress on social media. Maybe mutual friends mention how well you're doing. Suddenly, you've gone from the guy who was chasing her to the guy she can't stop thinking about. Women are drawn to men who take action, not men who make promises they can't keep. So, if you want to win in the long game, focus on taking action. Build yourself up, improve your life, and let your results speak for themselves. Remember, words are forgettable, but actions are undeniable. Be the man who takes action, and you'll become the man she can't resist. Number 10, the long-term view. Most men focus on the short game when it comes to relationships. They want instant results, they want her back now, they want her attention now. But Stoicism teaches us to take the long-term view. If you're only focused on immediate gratification, you'll lose sight of the bigger picture. Rejection isn't the end of your story, it's just the beginning. When a woman rejects you, most men panic. They think it's over, that they've lost their chance. But in reality, rejection is just part of the process. It's an opportunity to step back, regroup, and focus on your own growth. And when you focus on the long term, you'll realize that rejection is often the best thing that can happen to you. Why? Because rejection forces you to level up. It forces you to look at yourself and ask, how can I become a better version of myself? And as you focus on your long-term goals, whether it's in your career, your health, or your personal development, you become a stronger, more attractive man. Women are drawn to men who have a vision for their future. They don't want a man who's obsessed with getting them back right now. They want a man who's focused on his long-term success, a man who's building a life that's worth being a part of. When you focus on the long game, you'll realize that the right women will naturally gravitate towards you, not because you need them, but because you've built a life they want to be a part of. So stop focusing on the immediate. Stop worrying about getting her back tomorrow. Instead, focus on building the life you want in the long run. And when you do, you'll find that rejection was just a stepping stone to something greater. The long game wins every time. So why do women come back after rejecting you? The answer is clear. They come back because you've taken control of your own life. You've mastered your emotions, you've stopped chasing, and you've started focusing on your own growth. And that, my friends, is irresistible. Thank you for sticking music with me throughout this video. Throughout this video, we've covered the key reasons why women return after rejecting you. We've talked about the power of indifference, the importance of controlling your own life, and the value of action over words. We've explored how emotional mastery over ego sets you apart from other men, and how taking the long-term view puts you in a position of power. The truth is, when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you'll stop worrying about whether she comes back or not. You'll be too busy living your best life to care. And ironically, that's exactly when she'll come running back. But by the time she does, you'll have realized something important. You don't need her anymore. You've built a life that's fulfilling on its own. You've created success, happiness, and confidence from within. And whether or not she comes back is now entirely up to you. You hold the power.